power to do that. Look at this bitch. What's she doing? Is she actually trying to get their lane, or is she just up and blocking me? Like, oh, watch, I'm just getting the other lane. Yeah, look at me, look at me. I see you looking too.
Hey guys, what's going on here? The DRZ! I'm gonna show you guys how to do some maintenance things on it, because this will be the last time I'll probably get a chance to mess with it. And I'm gonna like to hand it over to the next owner in a good condition. I'm gonna show you guys how to check and change the oil. I know that may sound silly. Some of you guys, even DRZ owners, are out there like, I don't need to see that. But I'm gonna show you the secret screen. You may not know about that. And to you guys who've never changed oil on a DRZ and think that's a silly video, it's kind of a weird system. It's a semi-dry sump. So you've got oil in the frame, you've got oil in the motor. There's like 3 to 4 different places you're gonna have to like change it. And it's not a big deal, but I'm gonna show you guys how to do that and how to check it properly as well. I'm also going to show you how to adjust the manual cam chain tensioner. The auto cam chain tensioners that come on a lot of these models just put too much tension on the actual chain. They wear it out fast, so the chain gets worn out. It starts jumping of teeth, cam moves, takes out the whole top end. A manual tensioner fixes all those problems. The only thing is you're going to have to manually adjust it. And I just do mine every time I change oil, which is probably overkill. I just sort of check that it's still sitting in the right place. I'm going to show you guys how to do all that. First thing you want to do is you want to run the bike. This bike's been idling for about 5-10 minutes or something like that. I had the door open, I had it idling. You want it to get nice and warmed up, gets all the fluid and oils moving. That way, if any particles are in the oil, when it sits there, they'll fall and rest on whatever metal's below it. And when you're idle, when it's running, everything's suspended in the oil. And also, you got to idle DRZs just to check their oil. It's kind of a weird thing. All right, sorry if the lighting's not great on my garage, but here we are. This is the DRZ, and this is actually where the oil cap is, right up here in the where the filler and the dipstick is, which is odd enough for a lot of people, I'm sure. Now, when you go to check a DRZ, you can't even just check it with the engine cold. You actually have to run it for a second before you can check the idle. And you want to run it for about 2 to 3 minutes, and you don't want to rev it. With the engine cold, you should at least be able to see any little bit on this bottom of it. There should just be, even if it's just one drop, that's fine. If there's not that, fill it to where you at least have one little drop on there. Stick it in. Fire it up, let it run for, like I said, a couple minutes. Kill it, never rev the throttle, pull it back out, wipe it off, and then check it. Again, checking it, putting it in, not threading it, just sticking it on top of the threads and pulling out, and then checking the oil level. That's how you would normally check your oil, just to start with. Then for changing it, like I was saying, we've got this engine that's all warmed up. It was just running. It's nice and hot. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove the oil pan on the bottom. There's some small holes on the bottom of the oil pan, and you would get the impression that you should be able to change the oil through those small holes. If you try to do that, oil will go everywhere. Those holes are stupid. So just take the oil pan off is the easiest thing to do. And now we can change the oil. Here, we've laid some cardboard down. That's always a nice idea. If you don't have an oil changer thing, one of these cut up always works well. Now the first place I like to change that is right under the frame. So DRZ's got a couple places and there's one under the frame, and I like to do that one first. And when you change this one out, it's probably going to dump some oil into the header. So just be aware of that. Clean it off before you start, it's going to smoke a lot. And there we go. This is where you'll get most of the oil out, and it's probably going to get on your hand no matter what you do. But seems like most of the oil is always in there. Damn, I forgot to take my wedding ring off. Of course, the easiest way to clean everything up is just with a little bit of carb cleaner. I'll spray the oil plug here and just sort of wipe off, mainly just the grime on the outside. Now my DRZ's got this. I don't know if they all got this, but it's got this weird little, where's the camera at? Over here. It's got this weird little split washer thing in there, so you don't actually need to replace it. But if yours has a crush washer, you don't need to replace it every time. I don't know if that's something they do on all DRZs, or mine's got this throughout, so that's down to a drip. Pretty much good. And snug it down. The next one we're going to change out is the drain plug under the motor. And that's down to a drip. We can go and put this plug back in. And now both of those plugs, I like to give them just a little bit of spray with this. A little bit of brake cleaner, because like I said before, you will end up with some oil on the exhaust header up here. Let's try to wipe that off. you'll see it'll start smoking, it'll scare you and go, oh my god, what did I do? It's just a little bit of oil residue on there. When it comes out, it just sort of splashes on there. So we've got both of those changed now. Now we can do the oil filter. Now the oil filter is behind that cover here. Now you can just pull these three off. These are three 8mm nuts, and we pull it off. The filter's behind here, and some oil will run down the side of the motor here. Or we can change the oil at this little bolt right here. We can take this out, and just a little bit of oil will dribble out of there, and that way we won't end up with oil running down the side. Although this, when you change it, sort of runs down and goes everywhere anyway. But since I'm trying to show you guys how to do a full, proper 100% oil change, I'm going to change that now. That one's also a 14. But if you're really trying to just get all the old oil out of it, you can. That's something you can do. Alright, that's good enough. Put this back on. There's some oil that's ran down the side of the motor. I'm not going to bother cleaning it up just yet, because even after draining that, when I take this cover off, I'll probably get a little bit of oil that runs down the side. So I'll just wait till I get it all done and I'll clean it up. Put a little brake cleaner on. Brake carb cleaner, whichever I've got here, and sort of spray it down. That'll get all that residue off. Alright, now for the cover. These are a 10mm. I do that every time I change the oil on this thing. I try to go grab an 8mm and it's not the right one. So these are just little nuts. When you get to the last one, hold your thumb over it like that, put some pressure against it. Because there is some spring tension behind this. It's not a whole lot. I just don't want you losing anything. Alright, there we go. And here's the filter right in here. If you ever can't get it out for some reason, if you take one of those little magnets, you can tap it on there and it'll let you get it out. Otherwise, you sort of got to flick it. There we go, I got it. And there's your oil filter. Grab a new one here. It's K&N 139. That's the one I've always used just because I have it at the store. The hole goes into the motor. I don't even think you can put it on the other way, but just in case you get confused, remember the hole goes in. You should be seeing the flat clear side, or the blank side should be out towards you. So stick that in there. When you put this back on, make sure you have the spring and the seal on here. The little arrow kind of is pointing in the upper direction, kind of this way-ish, sort of up. And that goes back on like that. Thread these up. If you're worried about me torquing these down with a gun like this, it's not that hard to pressure. These electric ones are kind of nice for that. They sort of about the same as you doing a little snug down with a wrench. Just make sure yours is like mine's pretty good for that. Now, like I said, there's oil sort of all around here, so I'm just sort of Alright, most people would call that good. They'd say, okay, I've pretty much changed the oil. I've gotten all the old oil and put a new filter in. But there's one last thing a lot of people don't know about, and that's the screen. The screen is right in here. What we have to do is we need to take this little oil hose off, which is just two little clamps. Well, it's one clamp, one thing there. We just need to remove this top clamp up here, and then there'll be a big nut. I forget which size it is. I think this is like a 14 or something, or maybe it's a 17 that goes over this, and we'll unscrew it and take the whole thing out. Ooh, there's a screen inside there, so I'll show you that now. Alright, there we go. I forgot you got to remove this banjo bolt to get it out. Alright, so you'll have a banjo bolt in there, and then once you get the banjo bolt off, there we go. Got that off. Big old 24-inch socket is going to be required for doing this. I think it was like that last time. There we go. Oh, well there. And that, yeah, look at it. There's gunk on there. Look at all that gunk. That is the secret screen a lot of people don't know about. That is the screen there. Look at that junk that's on it. You see that? That's why you got to clean this every once in a while. The easiest way to clean this, first just try to wipe off as much as you can. Then we're going to hit it with some brake cleaner again. Some carb cleaner, brake cleaner, whichever one I got here. And then I'm going to hit it up with the compressor just to sort of blast out any little particle bits that are left in there. I'm going to go hit this up with the compressor now and just blast the rest of it out. little compressor, brake cleaner, and this thing is looking nice and shiny now. It's ready to go back in. Something you don't need to do every oil change, but check that out from time to time. Reinstall this piece, pop the deal in first, and then we'll hook the banjo bolt back up. Alright, now we can reinstall the banjo bolt. Remember, one washer on the bottom, one on top. Tighten everything up. Alright, then that pretty much does it for the bottom end. We've got about all the oil out of it we can. We've cleaned the screen, we've changed the filter. So all that's left now is to add oil back into it. The DRZ claims to take between 1.8 and 1.9 quarts of oil to refill it back up. I normally don't advise overfilling oil, but when we're talking about 0.1 quart, I just dump 2 quarts in there and call it good typically. So don't really have to measure anything out. Just dump it in. 10W40. It's winter time right now. In the summer, I often ran 2050 in it. Alright, there we go. Let's see. We stick this dipstick in here. Sure enough, I have just a little bit on the tip, which means if I can run the bike to check it properly now. We'll have to let the bike run for a few minutes, not revving the engine, and then we can check the oil level and make sure it's all good. Okay, so we've had it running for a minute, and now we will be able to check the oil. You can imagine I'm going to pull the dipstick out, wipe it off, reinsert it without threading it, and it's fine. Now here's something cool. You probably won't be able to see it in this. It's almost impossible to see the oil on this thing right now, but I'm going to show you a trick. You'll need a clear piece, a clean piece of cloth like this, and you can take it and press it against it like so, and when you remove it, you can see the oil level. So if we take that, we look, it's right to the full mark. So you can kind of move it to the side of it, and you can see we're right at the full mark. That's a trick you can do if your oil is really clear and you can't see it. Just do that. Alright then, so the last thing I'm going to show you how to do is adjust this manual cam chain tensioner right here. It's basically a screw that's rounded and smooth on the end with a jam nut. This is the jam nut right here, and this is the part we're going to turn to make the adjustment. What that does is it pushes against the guide on the inside here to help take the chain slack up the way we want it. And again, what we're trying to do is we're just trying to make it so that the slack has been taken up but not pushing any harder against it. And the way we're going to do that, I'm going to explain now because when I get it running, you may not be able to hear me, but hopefully you'll be able to hear the noise, is you're going to be able to hear the chain. We're going to back it out until we hear the chain kind of start to make a chugging sound, and then we're going to go till the noise goes away, and then maybe about a quarter turn more, and no more than that. You don't need to put a lot of tension. There's no reason to put a lot of tension on the chain. We just need to make it have the slack taken out of it, and beyond that, it doesn't matter. So you'll need 2 17s. I've got it cut in half one because I used to be a Honda tech, and if you've ever worked on a VTX oil change, you understand why. Otherwise, it doesn't matter, but I'm going to use this one to do my adjustment, and this one to be the jam one. So I'm going to go and stick this one on like this, and breaker loose, and turn that a couple times without turning the other thing. I'm just going to hold that. That can just sort of sit. That can just sort of sit here like this. I'm going to be using the other one to sort of turn it. And you can just turn this basically by hand. It's not too hard to turn. So just remember where you got it sitting. And we're going to get the bike running here. You hear that? No, it's good. It's bad. You hear it making that noise, don't go any further back, but you can hear it starting to make a chugging noise. We're going to go until it stops right there. We're going to use this one to hold it in place. That's good. Hopefully you heard that. I backed it up just a hair off where it was, and you can start hearing the little noise. took it until it stopped, and maybe a quarter turn more, probably not quite that much more, and I tightened it down. That's fine. That's where you want it sitting. That way the slack has been taken up, but we're not really pushing into the chain anymore. And it was pretty much good to go. Like I said, it's probably overkill that I do this every time I change my oil, but you see how long it takes, and it's not a bad idea to go ahead and just do that every time you change your oil. This is the one downside. This DRZ's got 40,000 miles on it, and it's got hot cams in it, well, E-cams, a flat slide carb, full it's a full Muzzy E exhaust on it, 3x3. It's basically as fast as this 2013 WR, and it's got full FMF exhaust, ECU, YZ throttle stop. That's a fairly all the way modded out bike, and this old 40,000 mile 2001 DRZ is just as fast as it is. You know, that's a hair quicker, that newer bike. So, you know, this is a solid engine. It'll run forever if you do the oil, do your screen from time to time, and get you one of these, because this is one of Suzuki's downsides, was their automatic cam chain tensioner. You put one of these manual ones in here, you put a manual one in here, and it's going to add a lot of life to your bike. All right, so that's basically it. Hope you learned something.
Some people are really by the rim, build it yourself. Sometimes I'm just driving around grass field. It's not fun as shit. I mean, this happens.
Well, I wish I had you on the other side now, because I could hit the throttle.
It's interesting, but it's not.
Really, very little I can do at this point.
It's kind of like a movie. It's like, yeah, it was good. I mean, I don't need to see it again or anything, but it was alright. You can run out of this manhole right here.
But you know, some people are like really stupid.